Welcome to Promote, Profit, Publish. I'm your host, Juliet Clark. And before we get into today's guest, who is actually one of my authors and very interesting, an Amazon bestseller, I want to remember to send you over to the YouTube channel, Superbrand Publishing. Go over there and subscribe. All of the interviews, if you're listening on a podcast or maybe reading the blog, which of course, if you're reading the blog, you're probably not hearing this. But if you're doing any of those and you want to see these people in real life, go check out the YouTube channel. Also, go over and take the Promote, Profit, Publish quiz. You can find it at www.promoteprofitpublishquiz.com. Find out if you're ready to publish that book. So, you put a lot of work into writing it, but if you don't have an audience, it's going to sit there. You're going to hear crickets, going to be super disappointing, and you won't ever make your money back. So you have to have a plan. You have to have a platform. You have to have all this put into place so that book sells. So today's guest is one of my authors, Peggy Matheson, and she has always loved to sing and dance. And I have to tell you guys, I'm just going to editorialize here a little bit in the middle of this. I actually saw her emote during her live book launch because she played out. She read some of her poems, and you can tell she's an actress. So she drew a few sketches when she was a young woman. And she had such a love for performing arts that drawing quickly fell by the wayside. Earning a BFA in music and dance theater from Brigham Young University was a jumping off point that punctuated years of performances on stage and on screen. Her tenacity to create the most impact with a performance has informed her ability to create poetry and drawings that not only resonate, but delight. After college, a parallel path was forming as her desire for freedom from pain drove her to do some deep emotional healing work. Sure, I can talk. She eventually found a modality that transformed her life and subsequently became a certified journey practitioner, helping others heal their pain through restorative guided meditation. Above all, Peggy is a believer. She's a believer in the power to become our best selves and that our life and relationships have meaning and purpose. For years, she felt her mission was a successful marriage. When that ended abruptly, she began to put the pieces back together and discovered she'd been living in an emotionally abusive relationship. Now that she is an APSATS trainer and partner coach. Wow, that's a mouthful. And trained family life coach, working with those seeking to transform themselves beyond their doubts, negatives, beliefs, traumas, and especially betrayal trauma. Her vision is to teach, inspire, and ultimately create space for others to become their best selves. Peggy facilitates creativity workshops using guided meditation, movement, and music, as well as supporting individuals on their healing journey. And I will let her tell you where to contact her at the end. But welcome, Peggy.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Juliet. It's great to be here.
So in all of that big bio there, we forgot Peggy has a book.
Yeah, Peggy has a book.
Peggy needs to get her book into her bio. So
Yeah.
Peggy brought me this book last year. It's called She Said, and it is actually a poetry and coloring book meant for trauma. And tell us a little bit about this journey. You mentioned it in your bio. How did you make all these incredible images, these pictures for people to color?
Oh my goodness. Well, it started with the poetry. And after I had done a lot of my own healing work through the guided meditation work called The Journey, which is what I do as a practitioner, I've been doing it for about 3 years and I became a practitioner. And then all this poetry started pouring out of me. And it was so fun. And it was like my place to play. And it was really fun. And so I wrote a lot of poetry. And I originally was going to publish a children's book, which is a poem, which is a rhyming book. That was my original thing, but as I went on I'm really into healing from my pain, like you said in my bio. And a lot of this is about overcoming self-doubt, feelings of not being good enough, talking to the little girl inside of me, her waking up and saying, we got to go play, we got to go play, and getting mad at me because I wasn't playing, you know, and stuff like that. And so it just really, there's a lot of joy there that came from opening into and expressing what I was going through. And so most of this book, 90% of it, I think every woman, no matter what their circumstance, could relate to, and probably a lot of men too, because I think we all deal with self-doubt and feelings of not being good enough. And, you know, wanting to play, wanting to do fun things, wanting to be present, be mindful, you know, sharing our light, all of that. So there's a lot of that in this book as well. And there's three poems in particular that are about the emotional abuse, but and I think everybody's probably experienced some kind of emotional abuse and they don't realize it because it's so invisible. But anyway, so I was doing that, and then I did it my first creativity workshop a few years back, probably in 2011, maybe 2013. And I shared some of my poetry, and we did, you know, the movement and the music, and I did some guided meditation. It was really powerful. People were writing things that were just pouring out of them from this creative space that they, you know, we don't often allow ourselves to be in that place. And so, and it was just a really amazing experience. And afterwards, some of the women said, "Why have you not published your poetry?" And I was like, "What? You think I should publish my poetry?" And they were like, "Oh my gosh, yes." So that's when I started thinking about it, and I was like, that was during the time when adult coloring books were pretty popular, really at first popular. And so I thought, well, I used to draw. Why don't I try drawing? So I actually just went on a YouTube video and like, how do I do this? How do I do this? And I was doing it with pencil and paper, went out and got some art paper, just regular pencil. And the woman was like, just take jar lids, just take, you know, from your kitchen, just different things from around the house and start drawing. And so the cover of my book right here, that's the very first drawing that I did. And that's
and are there jar lids in there?
Yes, around the heel, right here.
Wow. I never would have known that. Okay.
Yeah, so go ahead.
I'm not much of an artist, so now if I use jars, I can draw.
Yeah, or jar lids. Yeah, you can draw. So anyway, that's how I started. And it took me years. I was like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. And so it took me years. I had a lot of pencil sketches and I was like, I've got to digitize these. How am I going to digitize these? And that really was the hardest part for me. Getting the technical stuff down was really hard for me. And you know, even when I was in the middle of trying to publish, we were about ready to pull the trigger and print this thing. And I was like, well, freak out because what I had used, which is an app on my iPad, I was afraid. I had just learned. It was so hard for me to get all the information because nobody's teaching this at school. You have to go on YouTube and gather all this information. So I was like, oh my gosh, the pixels are going to be off. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be fuzzy. And I freaked out 2 days before.
She did. She did.
Oh my gosh. So then anyway, I figured out it was going to be okay, which it was. I mean, all the way through. Juliet, you know, I freaked out a few times.
She did it, and maybe we could move that discussion too. So at one point I said to her, you know, you're a healer and you're probably not hearing this in your own voice, but you might want to see somebody who works with imposter syndrome because it happens with a lot of authors. We get like 6-8 weeks out from publishing, and I watch, you know, these amazing human beings who've done all this work just kind of fall apart. Just kind of, you know, oh, I'm overwhelmed. Oh, I didn't get my homework done. Oh, I didn't. And it's like, you've never not gotten your homework done before. You've never, you know, I've one right this very minute where we're launching next Tuesday, and she's a mess. And I'm like, but you're a Harvard grad. Like, you're supposed to have your stuff together, lady.
Yeah.
But you're all adorable when you do it, but it's pretty normal stuff.
Yeah. And I've done a ton of healing work on myself. And so when it hit, I knew it. And I did call in some help. And that was absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary. Not to mention I was dealing with COVID the week before as well,
Mhm.
which was pretty emotional actually. So anyway, yeah, so there you have it. And I just that it wasn't the writing of it, and it really wasn't the drawing of it. I mean, when you and I set the date to publish for Valentine's Day, we it was going to be a really big push, but I only had 2 weeks to finish 6 drawings.
Mhm.
It's 6 drawings I had to finish, and you smartly had given a little bit of leeway in that time so that I could fudge it a little bit because I was struggling to finish those. They don't just you can't just push them out, but I really focused and was able to finish it and get that done. And that I was so anyway. So yeah, but it wasn't writer's block. It was me marketing.
Yes, marketing. But you know what? She did a great job marketing. I think we sold like 450 or so around there. We sold over 400 copies. And most of them came in the month of March, I think, because there's a lag time between Amazon. But so she did a great job of selling them and had a book party, a book launch party, actually a live one since we're in Utah. And little bit surprised, she had it at a mortuary.
And
Which
that was it was beautiful. It was a beautiful place. My friend who helped me with that, Chantel McBride, she's awesome. And she was like, let's do this, Peggy, let's do this. And I was like, oh, you're great. So anyway, it was really, they were very gracious. It was awesome. I know it sounds like a weird place, but it was beautiful, actually. It's an older place and they've redone it and it's just beautiful. So
yeah, it very, very much was, but it was just an odd when I drove up, I was like, "Am I in the right place?" Like,
yeah.
just, is her book gonna be worth more because the author died? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So no, it worked. It worked. We did it. Yeah. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, it
Thanks
really
to
was.
you. Oh my gosh, Julia, you just what I love about you is that you're just all I mean, it's not you're friendly, for sure friendly, but I know that there's not like a lot of fluff in there. It's not like you're just right direct, you get it done. I know I can count on you, very reliable, very much reliable. That is the thing. I know you'll do what you say you're going to do. And I know I better do what I say I'm going to do because I'm working with you.
Well, thank you. I feel like that rejected guy who, yeah, you're okay. You're reliable.
Oh,
Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding you.
I mean that in the highest compliment because when
No.
you're talking about publishing, you're talking about getting stuff done.
Mhm.
I totally trust you. And
Oh,
I want someone who can get something done. And that's what I mean when I say reliable. I mean that in the highest
well,
compliment
thank
because
you.
being the floofy healer creative that I am, I need someone like that.
Yeah, we do a lot of deadline setting here. You guys don't know this, but I actually bought a project management software because we've gotten so busy, and it scares everybody here because it's like you you think these people are actually going to meet those deadlines, and I'm like, you damn well bet they better. That's why I set them. So, yeah, I'm kind of a slave driver, but we have to get the book out the door because that's it. There's so many moving parts, and that's one of the reasons I think everybody gets a little overwhelmed that last 6 to 8 weeks because it's nerve wracking. You're for those of you guys who have not been through this, Peggy had sort of a smaller job because the book is a coloring book and she didn't have to go through the text. But even going through the text, we go over that manuscript over and over and over, and you find mistakes. Even we sent it off to the editor, and then there were still words that needed to be changed. And then we had on hers, we had a last minute, we got the proof, which the proof is always exciting. And tell me if this is right. You kind of, there's like 6 weeks where you absolutely hate me because it's so stressful. And then you get your proof and it's like, oh, my book. And
He
then,
helped me birth this baby.
yes, I birthed this baby. I'm the book doula. Oh, I like that. No, I don't
That's
really like
good.
that. But then we actually got the book in our hands and realized that she needed to flip up to color because we needed thicker paper. So I think that was a little bit stressful because we already had like the release date and we had to jam on that.
Right,
So
right.
there's a little bit of pressure there towards the end. And you guys, those are the things you don't understand about publishing a lot of times is there are so many variables. And it's not like I can give you with a project like hers that's really creative a solid answer about it needs to be like this, because sometimes things happen with a coloring book, especially where we get it and it's like, oh, we need thicker paper. We need, this is going
Yeah.
to be. So it doesn't, it's not always a perfect process. In fact, rarely is it a perfect process. So what are you doing big picture wise? Where are you going to use this book? Because that's always where people are curious. I know you spent quite a bit on it between bestseller and all of that, but the expectation is never getting it back through the book. How are you going to use this for bigger things to generate revenue?
So my goal is to do creativity workshops. I'd love to go into groups or businesses and to do creativity workshops using my poetry. Um, but part of what this is it's a coloring journal. My goal is to help people tap into that creative self, which is where joy is. It's where play is. It's where I mean, it's such an important part of ourselves, such an important way to connect with ourselves and others. And I really feel like there's just not enough focus on that in the world today. And I think that there's so much healing, there's so much forward motion, there's vision, there's all of that with creativity. um, and so I made this a journal. So there are pages in here where you can draw or write or journal yourself. The poems might bring up stuff for you. And so I wanted to make it something that's that taps into your creativity, not just the coloring, but what would you want to see on the page. And so I say this in the last part of the book. The very last picture I've titled, "I'm the faucet, not the water."
Hmm.
And that was a phrase that was given to me by my first creativity coach, artist coach. And she said two things to me. And the first one that were very impactful, the first one, that I am an artist, that was when I was like, I was sharing my poetry. It was a songwriting, actually, songwriting workshop. And I have a song that I had written, and I'm like, am I an artist? And I had a couple of coaches who go, absolutely, you can write songs. Absolutely, you're an artist. And then she said, remember, because I was like, because once the creativity comes out, it's like, oh, it feels like, did I do that? I don't remember that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you're the faucet, not the water.
Interesting.
So there are times when the creativity flows more freely than other times. And I know how to tap into that. But like I think about this book now and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of work. There's a lot of it's like I did that. I did that because I'm not in the flow right now. The water's not
Mhm.
flowing in this moment in that way. And so to know that is really important because then I don't have to say to myself, oh my gosh, I can't create. I can't do this again. It's like, no, it's not you can't do this again. Is that right now the water's not flowing. And
Mhm.
that's okay, and there are things you can do to do that. So anyway, creativity workshops, I would love to do them. I would love to do that. I would love to do book clubs and help women, bring the book and have people coloring the book, talking about it, doing some group coaching kind of things with that. I'd love to do presentations about self-care, which is a lot of what this is about. I mean, it's about, and everybody needs it. I know a lot of people might go self-care, oh, polishing your nails. No, essential. We're talking about it's essential. Taking care of ourselves is essential. And particularly with women, we tend to be so other oriented. We take care of everyone else before we realize it. There's nothing left of us. And that is a dangerous, dangerous place to be. And I'm talking serious. I'm talking about your power can be taken from you. I'm talking about your health can be taken from you. This is super important stuff. So I would love to be sharing this with women and talking about those important things and those fun things,
Mhm.
those things that are fun, those things that we love, those things we want to do, which are essential in our lives. What we want to do, we should be doing for our own health
We
in
should.
every way. Yeah.
Yeah, we should be. And what I loved about this, you and I actually started talking about, sort of that inner child work. And it sounded like, the inner child work I've done has been you need to play, and yours was you need to play. And I think that happens for a lot of people when they start doing that sort of work, is they realize that, it's not that the joy is gone, but there are just things that have happened way back that sort of took some of that childhood away,
Yeah.
it in a certain sense, that you've got to go back and reconnect. And I think my way was through the mystery novels. I actually found it harder to write a nonfiction book than I did fiction, because I couldn't make it up. And I think that's part of my creativity, is being able to, even when my kids and I are in a restaurant, we'll sit there and we'll make up stories about people in the restaurant. So I
Oh, I
think,
love that.
yeah, I think we've always sort of done that. So it's hard when I have to stick to the facts and I can't make it up. No.
Right, right. And yet I see your quote says life itself is the most wonderful fairy tale.
Oh, yes, it does.
So life itself, yeah. So yes, I get it. The fun and the play and the creativity is just
In fact, you guys,
great place
this
to be.
this is always covered up. One of my clients sent me one that I don't know if you can see it back there. It says she's more than just a little bit magic.
Oh, I love that. I love
I
that.
know I
Yes.
need to get it out so people can see it, like the life is the most wonderful fairy tale. So,
Yeah.
so Peggy, where can we find you? Where can we find the book?
The book is on Amazon, but you can find it at my website, peggymatheson.com/book.
Okay. And the book is also on Barnes and Noble. So if you're a Barnes and Noble shopper, you can actually go in the store. It's not stocked in stores, but you can order it there as well, or online. Peggy, thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome. Do you want me to share one of my poems? Would
Sure.
that be
Let's see you emote. Let's see this girl emote like she did at the book
okay?
signing.
Okay. I just think so. This one, I'm going to do the one I did at the book signing because it's so much fun. So this is the picture.
Nice.
This is the
Oh,
picture.
when you're done, before you go there, show them my favorite picture in there, the
Okay.
bus. I love
Okay.
this picture, you
Okay.
guys. I don't know. It's just so fun and playful with the little tigers, lions, tigers, bears. Oh no, I don't know
This
what
is
they are.
called Get on the Bus. And you know what? I wrote this. I talk about this all the time in coaching. Get off the other person's bus and get on your own bus. This is about self care. I wrote this poem a long time before I ever understood that phrase. So that's interesting because this is about getting on your own bus. But here's the picture. Can you see
Isn't
it?
that cute? Look at those little lions.
I know.
Adorable. It reminds me of the 60s.
Yeah, I know. Another friend told me that my drawings kind of remind her of the 60s, which is kind of fun. Okay. Okay, this one's called Stomp, Stomp, Whine, Whine. Whining, stomping, pulling on my hand. I'm not playing and she doesn't understand. I'm too stressed out and I can't afford to stop. I'm upside down and just about to flop. Then flop, she says, and leave it all behind. I haven't played with you in such a long time. Stomp, stomp, whine, whine, pull, pull, nag. I told you I don't care about that stupid little bag. She points to my back. And sure enough, it's there. The baggage that I thought I dropped is pulling on my hair. You said you'd gotten rid of it so we could go and play. It's just not fair that you don't do what you say. Oh my word, she's nailed me once again. That old crap bag has become my best friend. I did get rid of it. I told you that before. It just comes back when I level up some more. Can't you see how small it has become? I honestly thought it was smaller than my thumb. Silly you, goofus too. I could have told you that the crap's on you. Just come and play, please, like we used to do. I'll help you take it off and stomp it into goo. Stomp, stomp, whine, whine, stomp, stomp, whine. Let's do a jig and make it all fine. Wait a minute, that's what I've been saying all along. It's gonna be fine. It's not the right song. Stomp, stomp, whine, whine, pull, pull, nag. I told you I don't care about this stupid little bag. Okay, okay, I really want to play. It's just that I've been carrying this crap all day. Dance with me, laugh with me, let's give away your bag for free. Stomp, stomp, whine, whine, stomp, stomp, whine. Stomp, stomp, whine, whine, stomp, stomp, whine. I'm sorry, I say. I love you. I do. Thank you for teaching me to play with you. Stomp and whine and pull and nag. I can't live without you and my little crap bag. So let's do dance and let's do play. And maybe, just maybe, it'll really go away, at least for today. There you
Yay!
go.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you for letting me share. I appreciate it.